Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will be looking at the Elementalist Profession. This guide is a basic introduction aimed at new players. That said, I have linked to a new profession discussion thread and a great Fresh Air Tempest video axes and should be of interest for more experienced players. There will also be links on screen and down below to my other new player guides, which give advice on leveling, gearing and the current playable races, as well as an explanation of the skill and specialization systems in game. Back to the Elementalist. This profession found its origins in Guild Wars Prophecies, where its archetype was exemplified by the hero character Sin. Her story began in Ascalon before its fall, as humanity warred with the Char. When the cauldron of cataclysm decimated the capital, Sin witnessed her parents' slaughter. Faced with death, her fear and despair burnt to rage, releasing her terrible power. The Elementalists of Guild Wars have outgrown the traditional MMO mage archetype. In truth, they are more of a shamanistic hybrid, as they can not only harness the power of air, fire, water and earth, but are able to conjure elemental weapons and creatures to aid them in battle. These happy fire breathers melt the faces of their enemies and then crush them under an avalanche of rocks. Their skills, however, are not limited to simple destruction. They can use the different elements to boost the attack power of comrades, hasten their charge into battle, and even heal their wounds. Each element gives access to different abilities and attributes. Fire attunement offers flat, heavy damage and burning, which causes a lingering damage over time debuff. Water gives access to superior support and healing abilities. Air attunement enables heavy damage output, but also offers some control abilities. A good example of this is found on both the staff and scepter, which have knockback skills. Finally, earth attunement gives you access to strong damage mitigation, as well as bleeding damage over time skills. If you are looking for a profession with scope, the Elementalist has that in spades, but there is a steep learning curve when it comes to survivability. You must be ever mindful of your environment and positioning, as your light armour offers scant protection. Fear not, however, for you have an impressive arsenal of damage mitigation skills to aid your longevity. The Elementalist has access to 6 core weapons and a 7th from the Heart of Thorns elite specialization. The two-handed staff is the master of area effect spells. This long-range weapon causes direct damage or healing and can apply buffs and debuffs to allies and enemies. There are 2 main hand weapons. The close-range main hand dagger is a hard hitter causing heavy damage, but I caution, this is a high-risk, high-reward weapon and can be challenging to master. The scepter, also wielded in the main hand, offers various single and multiple target mid-range spells. I personally love the Phoenix Fire skill. It's not the boldest visual, but the animation is lovely. There are 3 offhand weapons. Offhand dagger gives you access to powerful close-range abilities, both offensive and defensive. The focus is all about support and mitigation. With skills that can create energy shields and disable snares, it also offers defensive area of effects. The Warhorn is available to Heart of Thorns owners only. You must have also unlocked and equipped the Tempest specialization in your build to be able to use the weapon. The weapon itself offers good boons to your allies and harmful area of effects to your enemies. The Elementalist has access to 1 aquatic weapon, the Trident. This long-range magical weapon offers a good range of damage and mitigation. There is little underwater combat later in the game, and ANET has culled it from their new content. The Elementalist cycles through its elemental attunements, changing the skills available on each weapon depending on the element you are channeling. This gives each weapon multiple skill options, adding up to a total of 20 individual skills available to you. This mechanic replaces the weapon swap and is the reason why Elementalists have relatively few weapon options. You also have access to skills unlocked as you work through your training tab here. Each skill line you unlock will give you access to upwards of 5 skills. Arcane skills use non-elemental magic and have no cast time. There is a burst healing skill in this category and a damage mitigation shield, along with 3 offensive damage skills. Glyph skills offer 1 healing glyph, 1 utility glyph, and 3 offensive ones. 2 of the offensive glyphs will allow you to summon elementals, and the 3rd summons an elemental storm. Glyph skills change depending on your attunement. Signet skills have enhancing passive effects and an activated effect. There is fire, air, water and earth signets. Each offer an active skill which either damages or disables your enemy. There is a healing signet with a passive heal effect and an activated cure. Cantrip skills are primarily defensive in nature and activate instantly, like the life-saving lightning flash, which is a teleport skill. They offer damage mitigation and condition curing along with a heal. Conjuring skills summon elemental weapons which can be used by your allies as well as yourself. Shout skills are a powerful area of effect skill which affect up to 5 players. They deliver healing, buffs and protection to your allies and damage and hamper your enemies. There are additional buffs and disables you can apply as an elementalist. Auras are an effect that provide buffs to your allies and cause harm to your foes and cannot be dispelled by your enemy. You can create a fire shield that envelops enemies, burning them. It also grants might each time you are struck. Frost Aura chills foes that strike you and reduces incoming damage by 10%. Magnetic Aura reflects projectiles. Shock Aura stuns nearby attackers. There are also traits which create aura effects, details of which can be found in the links to the official wiki below. Moving on to specializations. There are 5 core specializations and 1 elite. When you select a specialization in your build tab, you have access to the traits on that line. You can choose and equip 1 minor and 2 major traits in each line. These traits can alter the effects of your skills. Fire specialization enhances and modifies fire spells and conjured weapons. Air enhances and modifies air magic and increases movement speed. It can also boost spike damage and alter glyph skills. Earth enhances and modifies damage over times and bleeds and increases defense abilities as well as modifying signet skills. Water enhances and modifies water magic and defensive tactics as well as exploiting vulnerabilities on foes. Arcane can enhance all the attunements as well as boosting arcane utility skills. The Tempest specialization allows you to overload each attunement to powerful effect and enhances shouts and support skills. You must purchase the Heart of Thorns expansion to access the Tempest specialization. I will briefly outline a few of the current endgame meta builds, but we have just had a balance patch and the meta has yet to settle, so the value of this advice is questionable at best. That said, Elementalists and raids are primarily damage dealers, but the Tempest specialization has opened up healing as a viable role. The staff is apparently still viable at endgame when married with the correct build and rotation, and offers good damage output in encounters with big hitboxes. A combination of Dagger Warhorn and Dagger Scepter can be used at endgame for both small and large hitbox encounters, and offers, when married again to the correct build and rotation, high damage output. I will put links to these builds, to Meta Battle and to Fornax website below. In rated PvP, Elementalists do well running a Tempest, Dagger Focus or Romancer setup. This is a strong support build by way of damage mitigation, condition cleansing and healing. For those who want a more offensive build, try Scepter Focus Fresh Air. This is a very hard build to master but can be effective. Links to both these below. For WvW World, the Auramancer, wielding Scepter and Warhorn, is still king, offering great buffs, debuffs and healings via its large shout radius. Its close range healing support shines here too, in the tight formation group skirmishes you find common in this gameplay. Staff backline damage was very popular before the balance patch. I will link to that build below, but I am unsure how viable it is now. I cannot stress enough that the meta, or optimal build for your profession, can and will vary wildly depending on the content you are playing. Honestly, it can vary wildly from one encounter to the next. It can also be a moving target, as the game development team drops big profession balance patches into the game periodically, tweaking mechanics. When you are leveling, you do not need to worry about min-maxing your character. Even at 80, casual players can simply use the weapons and skills they enjoy. For casual open world gameplay, I suggest using Marauder armor stats instead of the standard Berserker ones. This will improve your survivability without sacrificing a vast amount of damage. I also recommend having at least one cantrip skill on your action bar and making use of the Glyph of Elements, either one or even both, so that you can summon an elemental tank. Although they are temporary, they can aid in heavy melee encounters, giving you some much needed survivability. Playing as a glass cannon can be fantastic fun, but it can also be incredibly frustrating and sour your initial experience. Professions take time to master, and giving yourself breathing room whilst learning can greatly improve your enjoyment of the game. So that's my introduction to the Elementalist. I hope this guide gives you a better understanding of the profession without having to wade through pages and pages of text. Please let me know what new specializations and weapons you would like the Elementalist to have access to next. Personally, I would love to see the Spell Sword specialization, extending our Conjure weapons arsenal and boosting its effects. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked this video and a thumbs down if you didn't, and as always, thanks for watching.